So in JavaScript, of course, they have functions, and we've worked with some functions. But they have what they call an arrow function. And an arrow function, all that is a simple way, a shorthand way to create a function. So, for instance, if we write a function, let's just do this one here. So we can say use strict So we create a function, we can say function ask, and we'll learn more about functions next week in chapter 4. So we create a function, we give it the name ask is the name of the function there, and we're saying question yes, no. And again, like C# with the method, we're passing in some parameters here. Question, yes, and a no. So, and just like C#, when we create a method in C#, we put the name of it, the data type, the name of the function, and the parameters we want, and then we follow it up with the curly brackets to put our body of it in there. So we're saying if, and then we're going to use a confirm box. Confirm, if confirm question yes, else no. So what they're saying here is just asking a question. If you confirm the question, it's going to be yes, else it's no. And then we'll do ask, and this is calling the method or the function. Here's the question, do you agree? And then we say function alert, you agreed. And then function alert, you canceled. The execution. So here you can see it saying ask question, any yes, any no, any void. Not a big deal for that there. So if we go over to our food order, I want to do it in here. Equals, we'll call it. So hopefully run this, we'll get a prompt or a confirm box, and then we'll run our code. We'll see what happens. So our pop-up came up, says do you agree? I can either put okay. I said okay, so it said I agree. Let me go back to our JavaScript. I said okay, yes. I said yes, that function, and here's the call for it. It says alert you agree. Put okay. If we refresh this, it says do you agree? Here's our question that's asking our question, do you agree? We have our okay and our cancel. If I cancel it, it should say you canceled the execution, and there that function runs and it says you canceled the execution. So this is a regular function the way it's set up here. We have the function, the name of the function, any parameters we pass, and then the body of the function itself. And then here we're calling the function, this ask, and then putting our parameters in that's getting passed to it, our question, our yes and our no stuff there. So now to use an arrow function is just a simple, concise syntax for creating functions that's a little bit better than using a function expression. It's just shorter. So you create the function, accepts the arguments on the right side, and then return the results. And so to do that, we can go like this. I'm going to comment this out. So this is going to be the same function, but we're just going to go ahead and write it shorthanded using the arrow method. So now we can have our function. We create our function, ask, and in parentheses, because we're going to have again question, yes, no. There should be curly brackets in that. And say if, confirm. Question. Yes. Else. No. So now, to show the arrow part of it, we're just going to call the function. And you can see we don't use the function keyword here anymore. We're just using the parameters parenthesis there, and then we use an equal sign and the greater than sign, so it looks like an arrow for the most part. And then you say alert, you agreed, and then an arrow function alert. Cancel the execution. Oh, I forgot my ask part up here. Sorry, skipped ahead. That makes a little more sense now. So again, this will run just like it did up here, but we don't have to use the function. And that we just say, here's the function, return this part here for us. And so I'll save this, go back into here, and let's refresh it. So we get our prompt. That's what we expect. Our question, do you agree? Do that, and it says you agreed. Or we can cancel it, and it says you canceled the execution. So the arrow function is just a shorter way of doing it like that. Let me find another example. So we can do something like, I'll comment this out. Say let age equal prompt. And again, age here is the name of our function that we're going to use. Prompt. What is your age? Let welcome equal age less than 18. So here we're having a prompt come up. Let welcome age less than 18. You're going to learn to say hello, or it's going to say greetings depending on the age. Let's save this. Go over here. Open live server. And I got an error. So let's Bureau MPT. I did that the other day too. So let's try this again. There's our prompt. What is your age? 23. Greetings. Since our age was not less than 18, we got greetings. So let's rerun it. We can say 17 and we should get hello. There's our hello. So like I said, the age just prompts it. It gets a value. This just kind of gives you the sample age that's in there. That 18, we could change it to anything we wanted. I would say 25. We could do, whoops, I didn't want that. We would say 25 here. Now when our prompt comes up, it just prompts it saying you can have the age of 25 in there. That 25 is older than 18, so we get the greetings. So that's kind of how an arrow function works. If you have parameters you can call the function name. You could do a let test, and then you could have your parameters, and you'd put your parameters in here. You can have as many as you need. And then you'd set your arrow function up and run it like that with your code with it. But like I said, once we get more into chapter 4, we'll start dealing a lot more with arrow functions. Let's take a look at our food order one, and we'll kind of see some of the arrow function in there too, and I'll explain that as we go through it. So let me find my stuff here that I had set up. Let me take all this out. It'll be on video so I can use it. We'll do strict again just to get in the habit of doing that. So let's go ahead and set up our page. Chapter 2 here says create a drive-through website of your favorite fast food chain. Use a web form, not window.prompt, to accept the user to input for a number of burgers, fries, and soda, or whatever 3 menu items of your choice. Burgers are $1, fries are $2, sodas are $2.50 each. Do the math, calculate total users order on a button click. Use the arrow function and anonymous function to wire up the click event. So as you can see here in the little box, what they're doing is they're doing a document get element by ID, which is going to be this button click, and then the on click here they're running what they call an anonymous function. And the reason it's an anonymous function is because there is no function name associated with it. So as we are looking at these arrow functions.
But if you wanted to, you could also technically assign up a button if you wanted to, couldn't you?
What's that?
You could technically assign a button, couldn't you?
Assign
A button, like a certain key, like it'd be like, you know, F or T.
Yeah, you could probably go through and do that. It's not worth all the trouble to do that, though. It's just easier to do it like we're going to end up doing it here. But yeah, I mean, if you want to put the time and effort into doing it like that, yeah, you could. So as you can see here, there is no function name or no keyword function in front of that, so technically it's an anonymous function. It's just saying here's the function, run this kind of a thing. You can see up here where the keyword function is. It's not down here or anything like that. So again, this just runs an anonymous function on the onClick event, and then it's going to run all the code in that function every time we click on that button. So then the output, the total cost of the user's order to the same web page with the form controls. Use a template literal to concatenate your variables into your string output. Template literal is the same thing as that string interpolation stuff we've been dealing with in C# and that. So add any HTML, CSS with Bootstrap that makes the page more descriptive or user friendly. I'm not going to get too crazy with it. Go over here to our HTML. Kind of got our HTML set up. We've been doing this for a while now. Here's my external JavaScript file I'm calling here to get what we want. So we'll go ahead we'll start out, we'll just do div. Any restaurant anybody prefers?
I don't know, so they've been going to McDonald's lately.
Say what?
Hasn't been going to McDonald's lately.
McDonald's?
Yeah, triple cheeseburgers, about like 5 of them. Their frappe is very good too. Anybody needs a frappe, probably come tomorrow.
I do like some of their frappes every now and then. I'm not a big coffee drinker, but sometimes I can stomach those. So that's our restaurant name there. I'm going to give it a form. And usually when you work with forms, and we talked about this briefly yesterday, Dominic, is when you have a form, your form starts at the very top of your form, and as long as there's buttons on it, all that wraps in one giant form. So even if you have multiple sections in the form, that's just all one form down to those buttons. So we have our form, just open it, close it. We'll put our stuff in here. Div. Inside the div, I'm going to do a label. I'll do 4 equals burger. Burger. Input type is text. I'm going to give it an ID of burger. And we'll give it a name of burger. Create another div. Do another label. This will be for fries. My fingers just don't want to type right today. Fingers are still asleep. They don't want to type right. Type right. No pun intended there. Input type again is text, because it says to take this off a form and not prompts or anything like that. Do one more div. It says drinks, sodas, sodas. And then we need our I guess we don't necessarily need this in a div. You know, let's just leave it in one. We'll put input. Jeez. Yeah, my fingers just are not working today. Equals button.
Maybe probably need a little caffeine today.
I guess I'm trying to chug this Mountain Dew Kickstart and it's not even helping. I might need a frappe from McDonald's.
Yeah. That's my plan, Mom.
We'll give this button an ID and we'll call it button order. Order. We'll close our button. Oops, yeah, I don't want this. I want that to say button. Close our button here. After our form, we're going to put a paragraph in here, give it an ID, order, close our paragraph there. So now if we want, we can put some styling in it. Let's see. There's just some old Bootstrap, that's version 3. I'm not too worried about what version I'm using now, even though we're using 5 in class. So let's put some style on here. We'll do a div class equals form group row. You don't necessarily have to put the columns on there if you don't want to. The more important part would be the form label for the Bootstrap. I'm actually going to put another div in here. Go to class, cal, small 10. There. Actually, I'll tab that over just so it looks that way. Input type. That looks good. Div class form group row again. Cut this out of here. Put it in here. here, and again here. And then I will take this, just copy and paste to save a little time. Copy this div. Div, and close. Div. Looks like it should be all right. So now let's take a look at our div. So let's take a look at our JavaScript. Set that up. We got use strict. We're gonna do our document get element by ID. The ID we want is going to be this ID down here, this button order. That's the button we're going to click to make it all work. And then do an on-click. Do our arrow function. So what we're doing here is this document get element by ID documents the object. This get element by ID is a method supplied by it. The document is our web page itself. So when we open a live server, we'll see something like this here. Even though mine's kind of wonky. So we'll see this here. And I want to put one more thing on here just to clean it up. So this is our document. This page right here is our document. And we are getting the ID, get element by ID. So that element we want, since we're doing this on click, is going to be this button here. So we're getting this element by ID. Here's the element, this button, the ID. We're getting it by ID. So then we can do something with it. And we'll see more of that here in a second or two. And we're saying get this element by ID. The ID is that button order. The element is that button. And we're going to do an on-click event with it. The on-click is going to fire off this anonymous function. And inside this anonymous function, we're going to do some stuff in here. Before I get to that, I want to take my button and put a class in here just to fancy it up a little bit. Use a little bootstrap there to make it blue. Oh, I see why I got my errors here. I got the extra closing div tag in here somehow. So there, that cleans up my little warnings that I had. And not only that, it shifts my form fields back to where they should be. So let's get back to the JavaScript. So we're gonna say let burger. We're gonna just declare a variable here, type of let, give it the name of burger. And we'll say burger equals document get element by ID. And so what we want to get for this element by ID here, as we go look at our code, we have an input type here with an ID of burger. That's what we want. We want to get the value out of this element is what we're trying to do here. So we need that ID burger. And again, we want the value out of it, so we have to do dot value. Oop. Document get element by ID. Oh, why isn't wanting to take my dot value? Document get element by ID burger. We'll skip that first. B-U-R-G-E-R burger. B-U-R-G-E-R. Get element by ID. So I don't know why it's not wanting to take the value. We'll check on that here in a second. So then we'll do a constant, since we know the burger total is always going to be $1. We can go ahead and assign it a burger times $1. We'll do fries equals document get element by ID, and we named it fries, I believe. Why is it not letting me put value on here? We'll do a constant fries total equal fries times, what did we say the value was, $2? And finally we'll do a let soda equal document get element by ID. And as you're doing these get document by element by IDs, you may want to go back and check your code occasionally to make sure your IDs are the proper ones that you're using here. Soda, fries, and burger. Burger, fries, and sodas. And again, we'll do a constant sodas total equals sodas times 250, I believe we said. Burgers are $1, fries are $2, sodas are $2.50. So, real quick.
Got a second for a question?
Alright, so we have most of this coded out. So we want a total. Now we want a grand total, so we're going to do another constant. Call it grand total. And it's going to equal.
In a way, it kind of did miles was, I put like a plus on mine, but there's one thing I kind of noticed, so because I'm kind of taking a written test, they want you to use a multiplication when you're trying to do the calculation for whatever reason.
Well, what they're doing there is you're taking the number of products and multiplying it by the price, and that way it gives you what you need. So if I order 4 burgers and do like on our code here, if I do 4 burgers and plus 1, I'm just going to get 4 plus 1, so it will give me 5.
Yeah, but like on the written test, I thought they kind of like shut me down, so like a multiplication and addition at the same time. It's like one of them was like in parentheses, where multiplication's like outside of it.
Well, that might have been doing like order of property or order of I can't think of the word I'm looking for now.
Order of operation?
Yeah, to where anything in the parentheses gets done first, anything outside the parentheses then gets done. So if you have 5 times parentheses, so if we look here, if we have something like this, so if you have 5 times 3 plus 4, what it's going to do, it's going to do the 3 plus 4 first because it's inside the parentheses. So 3 plus 4 becomes 7, so we'll do 5 times 7, and then we get 35 for our answer.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's what the way I kind of saw it though. 'Cause I thought the plus was like either outside of it, but I'm not sure.
So like the plus here.
Yeah, and then the multiplication would be like, I think inside of it.
Yeah, so if you do it like that, it's the same thing. So if we do like this, 5 plus and 3 times 4, so 3 times 4, that's 5, and that's 12, and then we get 17.
Mm-hmm.
So it just doesn't matter what sign is here or here. What matters is what's in the parentheses. So you do the parentheses first. Anything inside the parentheses gets done first. And then once we do that, we get the 12, put it down here, and then add the 5 to it.
Got it.
So we'll get back to our grand total. We're going to take our burger total plus our fry total plus our sodas total. Whoops. And I was looking at that dot value earlier on here and having issues. Because it's a text box, we have to do enter HTML to get the value out of it. So behind all these, we need to enter HTML. If it was a div, we could do the dot value on the div, but since it's a text box, we have to do this enter HTML. Oops. And that should pull us our value out of our text boxes now. So we have a grand total, and then we're going to do a constant order equals, and then we're going to use the template literal here to get what we want. And like we say in C#, like the string interpolation in C#. So we're going to use that little tick mark under the escape key to the left of your number 1. Put that there, and we'll say your total is, and we're going to put $2 because we want one of these $signs to show up. And we're going to say grand total to fixed. And what's that to fixed do?
That rounds it off.
Yeah, and puts the decimal points on it. Have a mech great day. And so that's our order there. Now we're going to do another document. Get element by ID. And this element we want is going to be this order paragraph we put down here. And so go back over here. And we said we want it to be that order here. So we have a paragraph here with an ID of order, but there's nothing in that paragraph. We're going to populate that paragraph there now to show what our order is. So we're going to do order dot inner HTML equals order. So what we're doing is we're getting this document by element ID called order off our HTML page here. Here's our element by ID is order. And we're saying inside there, take this inner HTML part here, this .inner HTML, and says stick this order, which we created right up here, and put it in there for us. So now, if we save this, this should be saved. If we run this now, let's open the live server. We can put 2 burgers at $1, 2 fries at $2, and 2 sodas at $2.50. What's that? $2, $6, $11.
Your burger gonna be like $2.99, I believe. Or I think the triple cheeseburger that'd be like $3.29.
You got that menu memorized, huh?
That's the main restaurant we really going to these days. Cause it's just like it's kind of a little cheaper than most restaurants.
So hit an error. Cannot set properties of null setting on click.
Oh, and the funniest thing ever is too is that apparently Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich, I think it's like $9.99 apparently.
What?
Or I think it's $7.99, but yeah, I heard it from a coworker. I'm just like, why are you kidding me? I was looking at them plans on to go over there, but now I'm just like, man, look at their chicken sandwich thing all that big. And I think Popeyes probably had way more baby chicken than any other, like, restaurant chicken than even at the hospital.
So, button order on click. That should end that, but why are we getting this error? So I'm gonna change this around, and I take this script and put it at the end of our file, and that way all of our everything loads first, hopefully. I may have to do an onload event to make sure. Well, let's give this a try real quick and see what we get. So we'll do 2, 2, 2. Our order came up, but we got no price in it. So let's see why we're not getting a price. And that might be because it didn't load right. So let's do an alert. Our burger cost.
You know the what do they call it? The validation check?
They don't really have it for.
No, that's not the thing you're doing with the whole alert thing. You do like a bill validation check to see if it's gonna be running.
Yeah, I'm gonna check my values and see. See if I'm getting a burger total, and then I'll actually. So let's do. Our burger cost, and then we'll just do. See what happens here. This is one way you can debug it. Our burger cost is 0, so apparently we're not getting a burger price out of here. Burger cost is 0, so apparently burger cost is 0. So for some reason earlier when we were coding this out, it would not let me put dot value on here. I tried the inner HTML and that was not giving me values, and then so I went back and tried value again and it allowed me to use value, and that's how I would expect it in the first place. I don't know why it wasn't letting me type that in, but if you take that inner HTML off your JavaScript code and put that dot value back in there, I can get rid of this alert now. It should start working. One other error I had is my class. I had from dash group row and I want it form dash group row. So I fat fingered that. So if you had it as from, change it back to form. And so now we open this with live server. you can see changing that to from group to form group. It spread our stuff out, makes it look a little cleaner. So now we can do 2 burgers, 2 fries, 2 sodas, and we should be expecting an $11 total. So click on our order, and there it is. Your total is $11. Have a McGreat day. So that's how we do, what is this, Chapter 2 homework. Chapter 2 homework, the first one there. So that's what we're looking at. Any questions or?
No, sir, but I am gonna buy a little bit more creative with that, what it said, has the type of style and design,
Yep.
since you don't do it at McDonald's one.
Yeah.
Protein.
You can get as fancy as you want with it. I just, really the only thing I used most of the Bootstrap for was the button and this form group stuff here to get it all in a row, to make it a row instead of stacking them or whatnot. So that's it for that Chapter 2 homework. That kind of explains the arrow function there. And again, this is an anonymous function because there is no function name or anything associated with it. It's just saying run the function. Every time we run this button click, run this function. Here's the function here that we're running each time. And again, this document.getElementById order, it's taking this inner HTML and it's saying go take this order that we created here and go put it in this HTML element here, which is the paragraph we have at the bottom, and that's why it shows up where it does. Put a couple breaks in here and get it to space out a little nicer when we print it. 1, 1, and 1. Now we got a little bit of room down underneath our button. You can bold that if you want to bold it to make it stick out more. You can do whatever you want with it. You can name your restaurant whatever you want. But anyhow, that's the code behind it, just to kind of give you an idea of the arrow functions and that kind of stuff like that. So, and then like I said, Monday when we return from our break, we'll go in a little bit more into functions and objects and stuff like that. So if you get stuck on some of this, maybe look ahead to Chapter 4 a little bit to get a little info on functions and a couple of the objects. And like I said, most of the objects we're going to use are just window objects and or document objects. That getElementById is a document object. That's why it starts with the document. This is just the method off that object, the parameter. So that object and that method is just like how we worked with objects and methods in C#, except these are given to us by the system using that document and the ElementById. We're not creating our own or anything like that. I think there was a few of them that the system supplied us with C#, like Parsint and stuff like that. Some of those, I believe. So, all right, that's that. I'll let you go work on your